Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Cruz and welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to discuss how I use the Jackson Audio Broken Arrow version 2. Before we get started, please do all of the things that help this channel grow. Like this video, comment and subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon so you get an alert every single time I upload a video. Now without further ado, let's get started. It is no secret that I am a massive fan of the Jackson Audio products. I recently reviewed their Bloom pedal, which is their compressor. It's actually a 3-in-1. It's their compression, EQ, and boost all in one. I'll link the video right up here. I have to say their products speak to me personally. I think that the Jackson Audio folks have figured out a way to perfectly blend analog and modern day technology, being able to merge in between, picking a sound that you love, making it sound and feel like you're dialing in an amp, but at the same time, MIDI capability, being able to get through a bunch of different functions and sounds in the fly, and it's a pretty amazing product. And of course, it makes perfect sense that they have such amp-like sounding products because they were at one point an amp manufacturing company. In case you didn't know, Jackson Audio is the birth child of Jackson Amp Works. This particular pedal is an overdrive pedal, and it's one that I've had my eye on for a very, very long time. It seems like Jackson Audio has always catered to the praise and worship style guitarist, and so it makes perfect sense that I would be at least interested in wanting to hear what this pedal sounds like. What I didn't know was how unbelievably versatile this pedal was. In fact, so versatile that I don't think I'll be able to truly cover it all A to Z on this video. But what I will do is what I'm known for doing, and that is I'm going to show you how I've dialed it in for some of the tones that I personally love. Let's quickly go over some of its functionality so you can understand how this pedal operates. You will immediately notice that it has 6 knobs: volume, boost, gain, and then a 3-band EQ, which consists of bass, middle, and treble. Again, to me, very, very amp-like, and just like the Bloom pedal, the EQ really seems to be so amp-like, and it truly affects your tone in the way that an amp would, even going into a product like the HX Stomp, which I'm going through today. The left side of the pedal operates as the drive side, and the right side operates as the boost. If you hold down the gain switch, it allows you to cycle through various gain colors. In fact, they actually give them different colors, everything from blue to magenta, and it's pretty amazing how unbelievably unique they can be, yet at the same time usable together. And I'll show you an example of that in a little bit. The right side is a boost, and if you do the same thing with the boost switch, meaning if you hold it down, you can cycle through, again, 4 different versions of the boost. Once you set your tone, you set your sound, and you maybe have your gain at its max. Let's say this is the highest gain I want to have it, but you don't want as much gain. By holding down both the drive and the boost switches, you can now gain cycle, which will allow you to cycle through 4 different stages of gain. Based on where you set the gain knob, you can cycle through 25% of your gain, 50%, 75%, or a full 100% of the gain you set. I do want to point this out before I move on because I think it's important to mention this because I was looking for this answer. I didn't find it on a lot of YouTube reviews of this product. This is analog in the sense that it doesn't allow you to save presets. And what that essentially means is that if I set up a tone using the knobs and like that tone, there's no way for me to essentially save it. So then if I switch gains, for example, if I went from the blue setting to the green setting, I can't go back and get the sound or the tone that I dialed in on the blue setting, right? It's all based on the knobs on the top surface of the pedal. So I can cycle through all of the gains and it'll cycle the gain, the amount of gain you have, but you can't change EQ. You have to remain with the EQ setting that you set on the pedal itself. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that if I wanted to use maybe 25% of the blue setting and use 50% of the green setting, let's just say, I can't necessarily change the EQ between drives. I would have to stick with the EQ settings that I have currently top mounted on the pedal. It does make sense. You can consider that a limiting thing. I kind of consider it more catering to the analog style feel that I get from this pedal. And last but not least, this is version 2, so it is MIDI controllable. What this means is that now you can call upon any one of those things that I just described. You can call upon a specific gain, blue, magenta, green, what have you, either 25, 50, 75, or 100% of the gain itself. And then you could also call upon a specific boost. It doesn't have to always be the same boost at that. And so having MIDI capability will essentially turn this pedal into a monster, being able to get a lot more out of it than your average overdrive pedal. In fact, you would need multiple pedals to essentially accomplish what you could accomplish if you just had the ability to use this pedal with its MIDI functionality. But I'm gonna address that in another video where I discuss MIDI in a little bit more detail. As I've been embarking in it, I've realized it's not so scary, and therefore you shouldn't be scared of it either. And I will show you how I set up MIDI specifically for this pedal, and maybe even some of the MIDI functions that I've set up for the HX Stomp. So stay tuned for that. For now, we're just gonna listen to some of the overdrives that I've dialed in and set up here with the Broken Arrow. Let's quickly discuss the settings that I'm going to be showcasing in this video. Every time you see the pedal on your screen, those are the actual settings that I am using. So the volume is set at about 10 o'clock. The boost is set at about 11. The gain is set almost at 11 o'clock as well. The bass is set at nearly 2 o'clock. Just a little bit past 1 o'clock, whereas the mid, as you can see, is set more towards 1 o'clock, and the treble nearly 3 o'clock. Kind of basic settings, and these are things that I could see myself changing over time depending on the guitar that I'm using or the pedal. So it really just depends on what I'm doing and maybe the kind of music that I'm trying to play. For now, these settings are suiting my needs just fine. Here's my clean sound. Now I'm going to turn on the blue overdrive, and this one I've been favoring because it's supposed to be one of their more open, sort of transparent drives, as you could put it. And this is it at full 100% of the gain that I have set. Now I'm going to quickly gain cycle so you can see how that works. We're going to shoot it down to 25% of the gain that is set. Here's 50%. Here's 75%. And now back to 100. I want to switch pickup position so you can hear how the dynamic range changes, but in a good way. It holds its characteristic and it holds the dynamic ranges very, very well. So I'm going to switch up to the neck position now. Now the bridge. So now that I've shown you guys a little bit of its functionality, a little bit of one of the overdrives, right, and how you can cycle through the gains, I want to quickly show you how I'm personally using it right now. Just like in previous pedal board setups that I've had, I like to have a clean sound, a first stage gain, a second stage gain, a third stage gain, and then a solo sound. So I want to be able to go from really clean to really, really dirty to cover all of my tones that I personally use on a daily basis. I've chosen the blue setting at 25% of the gain that I have set to be my first stage drive, and I usually use that in the middle position of my guitar. Then I've chosen the magenta setting at 50% for my second stage drive. So magenta setting set exactly the same, but 50% of the gain that I have set on the pedal itself. What I love about this particular sound is that I feel like I can use it on any three pickup positions, and it totally changes sort of how gritty the pedal will actually be. So that's me leaving it in the middle position. I'm going to switch to the neck. Now the bridge. Now for my third stage, I'm going to be using the green setting, which is, I guess, sort of their more compressed Tube Screamery-esque without necessarily giving you that mid-range hump, and it is currently set at 50% of its gain as well. And for this particular sound, I'm keeping it on the bridge pickup. And now for my solo tone, I'm going to be staying on the green setting, but I'm going to shoot it up to 75% of its gain. And I'm going to turn on the blue boost. What I love about this particular sound versus previous solo tones that I've used in the past was I feel like I could also use this sound for other things. Like, though I don't play hard rock music or like heavy music anymore, I still like the idea of being able to quickly dial in those tones in the event that I would ever need to play that music again. And with the fashion trends and music trends lately, I have a very strong feeling that hard rock music and rock music as a whole is going to make its comeback within the next few years here. So I'm eagerly waiting for that to make its return. But until then, I'm just going to quietly play some hard rock tones in here in my studio. But I love that sound because I feel like with the exact same setting, I could play that kind of music with this guitar even, and it, to me, sounds pretty good. But who am I kidding? Let's throw on some delays, some reverb. Let's calm it down a little bit. Let's go back to the blue setting, which is my first stage gain set at 25%. I'm going to throw on reverb and delay from the HX Stomp. I just want to show you some of the tones that you would basically hear from me more on a weekly basis here on this channel. And there it is, folks, the Broken Arrow. Let's quickly discuss some pros and cons that I love about this. I think I've been talking about the pros enough. I love it. I think it's versatile. I think especially if you can get your hands on a MIDI switcher of some sort, whether it's some of the Morningstar stuff or even the Boss ES5, something that can allow this pedal to get full versatility out of it, right? Because it's definitely one of those pedals that can do more than meets the eye, but you gotta dig in, you gotta invest in it a little bit to really get the most functionality out of it. What's the con of this pedal? Well, I guess similarly to the Bloom, if you don't have MIDI capability, or maybe if you're using the version 1 of this pedal, or you don't have some kind of MIDI switcher and you still want to get a lot of functionality the way that I get it, you're going to do a whole lot of tap dancing, holding down switches and knobs. I don't necessarily hate that. It allows the pedal to be as small form as it is. It's a very small pedal for what it does. Yes, it sits tall, but it's pretty slim and it's top mounted, so it allows you to mount pedals right next to it. So if it had more functionality in it, like the ability to step on different switches to call upon different gain sounds, it would just add size to the pedal. So the real only way to get the most out of this thing is by incorporating some sort of MIDI switching system so that you can call upon the different tones that it allows you to have. Or you cannot do any of those things and you could simply use the pedal for one of its settings and set it and forget it. You can even use it for one of its gains and then a boost at that, because the boost sounds fantastic in it. So you can simply use it as a two-in-one, or you can truly dig in and get a whole lot of different sounds out of it, like I just showed you, literally calling upon multiple different drives and different gain cycles within those drives, and then boost on top of that to be able to get the tones that I normally get here on a weekly basis. It's a very special pedal, and kudos to Jackson Audio for making such amazing products, because they've been life-changing for me and my personal setup. As you can clearly see, we're inching closer and closer to products that I have been testing and deciding on. There is a pedal board forming here in my studio, and I'm very, very eager to show you that. If you watched last week's video, which I'll link right up here, somebody submitted a pedal board and they remain nameless. Who knows? Maybe if you look at that picture closely, you'll get an idea of some of the pedals that I've chosen and therefore will eventually showcase on this channel. But you're gonna have to stay tuned. You're gonna have to keep watching every week. And I promise you, we will have some fun and I'll show you all of the tones that I've been recently creating. Thank you so much for watching. Please do all of the things that help this channel grow. Like this video, comment and subscribe below. Hit the bell notification icon so you get alerts every single time I upload a video. Check out some of the affiliate links in the description box below. There's also a link where you can donate to my channel directly via PayPal. Anything would help, even if it's a few dollars or a few cents. Either way, I'm going to use it for good. Trust me. Thanks again for watching, and until next week.